Hey everyone, and welcome to part 3 of our October color along. If you don't know already, we're working in Hannah Lynn's Enchanted Halloween, and we've been working on Witch's Brew. This is what we've got so far. Feel free to watch the first couple parts. We're gonna dive in onto this one, and I got me some pumpkin spice latte, which I don't usually drink, but I figured I might as well try it out since we have it in at the store, and one of the perks of working there is I get free coffee, so why not? I figured it would be very suiting for a Halloween color along, right? So get a little bit festive and into the whole Halloween theme a little bit early. So we're gonna dive on in, and I'm thinking that I want to kind of work a little bit on a few of the little baubles because those always take more time than I kind of plan for, so I want to get some of them done. And definitely do our green goo because I'm super excited for that. And we'll just kind of see what else we have time for and go from there. So let's just zoom on in and get started here. I think I have all of the swatch cards I need. I'm going to trade in my squeaky chair for my roller chair. Okay, so let's see what I have the colors planned for. Let's work on the shelves first. I got my colors for those. 70, 30, and 10. I think should be these ones here. We got 30 and 10, and then I think we need to borrow 70 from this bundle of swatches. There we go. Oh, that's not 70, that's 50. I want this one. Okay. I got my pieces of paper, just a couple of pieces in behind to protect the pages behind. And we'll go in with our 70% cool gray, which I'm gonna kind of do the same thing that I did for the wood paneling in behind the shelves. And I'm just going to kind of darken up these lines here. Add a little bit of shadow in underneath on the, I want to call these like hinges, but they're not. They're, I know the word, I can't think of it. I will let you know if I think of them. You guys probably already know. Brackets, is that it? Brackets, I think. I think that's it. Let's maybe shadow a little bit underneath this, oh my goodness. My brain does not want to brain. I swear I know what that is too, I promise. Hourglass, yep. My brain's just very slow. I might keep these really dark. Okay. Let's go in with our next color, which is the 30% cool gray. And as always, I'm just going to kind of blend this out from the darkest color. I'm going to go all along the bottom here just to create a little bit of a shadow without it overpowering the shadow here. So I want this shadow on the brackets to be darker, but I also want the bottom of the shelf to be a little bit in shadow. So I'm just going to bring this out slightly from everywhere that we've already colored. Try and save as much white space as we can for our lightest color. I think for the brackets, I'm just going to finish them off with this one. And then lastly, we're going to come in with our 10% cool gray, which I'm going to sharpen mine. Still kind of on the fence about what color I want to do the cauldron handle. It's either going to be the shelf color or the broom and spoon color, but I'm just very uncertain. So this, I'm just going to go over everything, kind of blend it all together. Okay, and then I'm just going to set these colors off to the side since I might be using them. We'll do these handles next and kind of see how they turn out, and then maybe we can make a decision from there on which would look the best. Let's see, at least I think I had those colors out. I think I wanted to use these ones. I didn't actually write down the colors, did I? Sand, glass, draw. Okay, we're just gonna kind of wing it then. I think I just want these three and then maybe a blender pencil to just kind of finish them up without altering the color too much. Let's go in with dark umber, if I can grab the swatch for that. So it's that one there. I do want a sharper point on it if I can sharpen this guy. He's getting pretty small. There we go. Same kind of fashion, I'm going to come in on the darker areas, or on the lines here, and make them darker, I mean. I'm going to try to be mindful of this, and actually, I think we want the very bottom of this to be glowing too. So I'm just going to lighten up my pressure there. Maybe go in behind on this line. We're going to try and keep the front of this as clean as possible. The broom, I imagine, is a little bit further back on the page, tucked against the wall, so I don't think it'll be too glowy. So we don't have to worry about leaving anything on that one. We'll just color it normally as we normally would. A little bit of shadow at the bottom. Those look good, and they're already starting to blend into the wall a little bit too much, so we're going to turn this into kind of like red wood almost, I think. So we're going to go in with our next color, which is going to be the Tuscan Red. So I'm just going to come in over top of the dark umber. That's going to give it a little bit more of a red tone, but it's going to keep the darkness from it. And then I'm just going to kind of fade it out a little bit. Fade it down here. Try and blend it a little bit into the highlight there without going over it too much. Okay, I just want to lightly go over everything except for like this little yellow area here. I don't want to touch that. But other than that, I'm just going to put like a light base along everything, and you'll see why here. Because I'm a little bit lazy. I could grab the burnt ochre, which is the color that I probably should have grabbed instead. But we're going to kind of create our own variation of it. So now we're going to come in with the light umber. And we're just going to pop this just lightly in over top of some of the lighter areas. It should mix with the red a little bit and create a redder version of it. Just lighten the pressure up down here. Okay, it doesn't look like much now because we're not burnishing it with those ones. We're going to burnish it with a blender pencil, but I think before we do that, we want to bring in our chartreuse and just kind of darken this up a little bit. There we go. Remember to keep these colors out. I did use this one. Okay, so now in with the blender pencil, and we're just gonna lightly, we're gonna burnish over the chartreuse first because we don't want to take away from that color. And we'll just go along everything else and just burnish it, which will make it look a little bit more bold. Not so grainy, so that way hopefully it'll kind of look a little bit forward from the background, or at least not blend in so much. Okay, and then after seeing this color, I don't want to put this on the cauldron because the cauldron is already very purple, and it's like a reddish purple, so I don't think I want to add any red toned wood to it. I want something that'll kind of stand out, and I feel like the gray will definitely do that. So we'll grab those colors again. Grab that swatch again. And we'll just follow those same steps. This time we can use this for the bottom, kind of shadow it a little bit. I'm going to make it very, very dark near the lines. And in these, inside these swirly things, I think it should be a little bit darker too. Okay, that's probably good for there. So next color is with the 30%. Same thing as before, we're just gonna, excuse me, we're gonna bring that up and fade it out a little bit from our darkest gray. I'm gonna try and save highlights wherever we can. Not a big deal if we can't. That's looking pretty good. So let's come in with our last color. And that's the 10% cool gray, and then we'll just go over everything, blend it all together with this. And I am burnishing these ones. I don't want these ones to look grainy. I want them to look kind of finished and nice. It's especially since we've got our like custom designer witch's pot here. It definitely needs to look classy. Not using small circles either. I'm going the way that the grain would be going on the wood, so just going kind of horizontally. And there we go. Yeah, I'm glad we went with those colors because they really look, they stand out really good with that reddish purple. Just gonna grab my makeup brush here and get all the little bits of pencil dust off. Okay, so we got that done. I don't think we need the Tuscan Red again or the light umber. We can pop those up there. I think we do need that again. Let's tackle the straw on the broom, and I think I have probably too many colors picked out for that, so we might have to narrow it down. Okay, where did I have that? Okay, so the colors that I had picked out for that was the dark umber, green ochre, artichoke, and jasmine. So we're going to borrow in a couple of these colors from another set of swatches. Got these two. And is that one of them? Artichoke? Yeah, okay. So this is a fairly small area. 4 colors might be pushing it a little bit, but let's try and fit them all in there because I feel like they would blend nicely. And we don't want too much of the dark ones actually. So this is the dark umber. Let's go in with this one first. I'm gonna pop a little bit in at the top here of the broom, and then I'm just gonna go right over the lines. So I'm not gonna try and go on like the left side or the right side. I'm gonna go right on them. And I'm just gonna basically just coat them in a nice layer of the dark umber, and that's literally all I'm gonna do for that one. And then we'll come in with our green ochre, which we want really sharp pencils for this if we're gonna try and fit them all in there. I'm just gonna bring this out just slightly from the dark umber. I'd like to kind of bring it out on both sides, but we don't really have the space for that. So I'm just gonna pick whatever side kind of has more space and bring it out on that side. As long as there's a little bit of this color, it doesn't have to be too much. And then we'll bring it down a little bit from the top, maybe add a little bit up here. Okay, this one was on its own, so I don't think we need that again. Okay, next is the artichoke. So I'm just gonna bring this out lightly. It's kind of like the same, I forget about this little bit up here. It's basically like just a lighter version of the green ochre, so we don't need too much of this. And I'm just gonna lightly put it down. And then the last color is the jasmine, which I'm just going to go over everything with this. It should give it more of that straw look. It should yellow everything out. Make it not look like a green broom, because that's actually not what we wanted. But those darker browns and greens do give us a lot of added depth to the broom than just using like grays or black as shadow or darker yellows. I always like to kind of experiment with using different color families as shadows. rather than sticking to the same color family, because sometimes you come up with some pretty amazing things going that way. There. Okay, so I don't think we need that one anymore either. Got lots of pencil dust happening on the page, so we don't want it to smudge. We'll get rid of as much as we can. Okay. One thing I am gonna do quick, I'm gonna bring back out the dark umber, and I'm just gonna go right over top of these lines, super dark. I feel like they're kind of lost, so I want to try and bring them out a little bit if we can. Oh. Watch it's going off here. Okay. Good enough. Okay, what's next? Let's do our goo. Let's do the goo. Okay. So as I showed in one of the, either the first or second part, I'm not sure which, I'm kind of basing this off of like a slimy swamp that I did on a picture a while back, so I'm not exactly sure what order I used these in or went about it into. I don't think this is part of this swatch set. I think that kind of got sneaked in there. English not good today. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of use the colors that I used and just hope for the best. So let's go in with the 90% warm gray, which is kind of a weird color to use, I will admit. I'm just going to lightly use this as the shadows, I think. Actually, let me pull that page out just to kind of reference to. I'll show you guys again here what we're kind of going for. So it was from Chibi Girls Horror. It is so luminescent. Oh, I see. So I used the grays in on these dark patches of the swamp. So we might actually not even need those unless we want to make. Okay, we could. I'm gonna change this up a little bit. Let's get rid of that there. I don't think I want that there. Okay, I want to just place these colors under the bubbles that we can see forming here. So these will be like our shadows for under the bubbles. We'll do it that way. Just kind of fade it out from them. Really work it in there. Not burnishing at all though, because we still need to be able to go over top and kind of make it more green. Okay, so that's probably it for that one. I think we're gonna skip the 70% cool gray for this one, but we did use it for the shelves, I believe, right? Yeah, so that stays in the color swatches. We'll skip right to the 50%. Why do I have so many grays in here? Where did this one come from? Oh, right, that was the 70%. I just got rid of that one. Okay, so we'll come in with the 50% cool gray. Kind of blend that into our darker gray and fade it out. This will hopefully help us kind of transition to a lighter green color. And it'll lighten up our dark gray just slightly. Okay, liking that. So then we're going to take our dark green, and again, we're going to go over these darker bits too. still not burnishing because I think we want to lighten it up slightly, maybe a little too dark. So I'm just going to go just directly under the bubbles, basically where we put our darkest gray. Just going to add that green tone to it a little bit. And then we're going to switch to the grass green, and this is pretty much going to go over that other gray that we put in. Okay. So I have to figure out how to do the bubbles. Like I can do the base of the slime no problem, but the bubbles are going to be a little bit trickier because we still want that bubble effect. So let me just, as weird a search as this is, we're just going to search slime bubbles and go into images, and it just brings up like the play slime. Let's try green cartoon slime bubbles. Does that help us? No. Although that guy's pretty cute. Okay, if we search green witch cauldron goo, that is actually really helpful, which is so strange. Okay, so I'm just going to pull up this picture here. That's the one I'm going to kind of use as a reference. So if we look at the bubbles that they did, they had their light source, which we'll probably do the same kind of light source because that's, I don't know, I like having things coming in from the top left, so this makes sense to me. And so everything on the bottom would be a little bit darker, so we can use this to kind of figure out what we need to do. So we are going to bring the dark green back, which is here. And then, okay, what I'm going to do, since these pages have such thick lines, I'm just going to come in right at the bottom to add this shadow, even though they have left a little bit of a highlight at the very bottom, but we can do that with the Posca pen and then just come back in once it dries and color it one of the lighter colors. That way we can keep all of the space within the bubble. We'll have a little bit more room to play around with then. Okay, so let's see, we're going to go in along the bottom and kind of along this top side here. Kind of like that. And we'll do the same for all of these other ones. So just going to come in along the bottom and the top right. I don't know if we can get the floating ones on screen right now. Yeah, we can only get, let's see. Yeah, we can't get the very top one. So we're just going to focus on this for now, and then we'll do the floating bubbles separately. and then we can come in with our grass green. Same as always, we're just going to bring this out a little bit. Making sure to save a good highlight space on all of these other bubbles, even the smaller ones. We really want that highlight on there, so we don't want to accidentally overshadow it. Okay, we'll come in with our spring green next. And same thing, just gonna keep adding to it. Saving the top left kind of area for our highlight, our lightest point. For these ones, some of these are pretty small, so I might just use the spring green to go over the dark colors to lighten them up a little bit, and I'm just going to leave the highlight alone for now. But while we have this, we can also bring this out from the darker spots and then just kind of fade it and leave the rest for the lighter color. Okay. And then lastly, we'll come in with the chartreuse, which mine is just a little bit dirty from covering over that wood, so I just want to sharpen it and clean it off, make sure there's nothing on it. And I'm going to use this to go over pretty much everything, over and burnish everything with this. Just using small little circles. Focus on the bubbles first, because I don't want to accidentally bring in some of the gray from the bubbles shadows in and muddy those up. And then we'll come in and we'll just kind of add to the lighter bits that don't have any first, and then we'll just go in and blend and burnish everything. Oh, that's looking pretty cool. I just don't know if I want to use the highlighter on it before or after we do the Posca. Because I think Poscas kind of react to water, and I'm just a little bit worried that the highlighter will kind of wash the Posca off. So let's go over with the highlighter first, just to be on the safe side. So I'm just going to grab that and color over these bubbles and see how luminescent that makes this look. We'll do like half the pot. So this side compared to this side, there is a crazy difference. These highlighters are amazing, especially with these colors. There. Okay, so we'll let that dry for now. meantime, we'll come up and tackle these bubbles. Starting with the dark green, not the grass green, this one. It's the same thing. We're just going to come in on the bottom right. And then we'll just keep slowly adding to it throughout the rest of the colors. So grass green. Spring green. And then chartreuse. We're just going to go over everything with this one. And then we'll come in with our highlighter, which I'm a little bit curious to see if putting a little bit in the background around like the glow of the bubbles makes a difference. It seems like it's making a little bit of a difference. Let's just go around the very edge of the bubble with the highlighter. So that way some of it's a little bit glowier and then it kind of dulls down. So I'm just going to kind of outline the bubble almost. Do the same with just the outline down here. Okay. So I'm just going to go just on the black around the inside of the bubbles. It's going to look a little bit funny for now, just because it's like really white. But we are going to tone it down with the chartreuse after it dries. Which, unless you like the white, then you don't have to, because it does kind of look neat, but that'll be totally up to you. You'll be able to see how it looks both ways anyways. Okay, go to these guys up here. Same thing. I'm also just gonna put a little bit of white in this one to kind of connect the spider web, because we'll be able to see that through the bubble if we want them to be translucent. Okay, we'll wait for that to dry. Let's move on to the next thing, which will be the hourglass. What are we at for time here? Only at about 40 minutes, not too bad. I still don't know what I want to do for the floor. I'm actually kind of thinking to pull the grays from the shelves onto the floor, because I feel like that would probably go best, but we'll see. Okay, so this was another one that I kind of probably took way too many colors into, and that's the frame of the hourglass, because I want the frame to be gold. Okay, so we got 2 golds here. I know I wanted 1 shiny gold and 1 like dull gold, and I wanted to do the moon and stars on her hat as well, but I can't remember which one I wanted as which. Okay, I'm thinking let's do the dull colored gold on her hat. So we're just gonna grab the yellow ochre and we're gonna base all of these little spots with that. Let's do these swirly bits gold too. And same with the moon down here. And we'll do the clouds, maybe the same gray as the shelves as well. So that's just a light base. And then for the hourglass, we're gonna base it with the canary yellow. I originally wanted to add black in here, but I don't think I'm going to. Let's go in with the dark umber instead. I feel like that's dark enough. I don't really need the black, so we're just gonna go in lightly with the dark umber underneath this top stand here, underneath these middle ones, maybe under and on top. I want to make these look like little like ball joints almost. And then just a little bit along the bottom. Okay, for the moon, let's add just a few little patches and stuff to add some interest to it. We'll add a little bit to either side of these little filigree type shapes. And a little tiny shadow to the dots that we can. I don't really know how to shadow a star, but we'll add a little bit anyways. Okay, so that's probably it for the dark umber. Let's come in with the bronze. This, I'm just going to go over the dark umber to yellow it up a little bit, and then I'm just going to bring it out just slightly, just a little bit. Maybe let's add a little bit on the very top of the hourglass too. In my case, especially because I kind of brought the lines from the wood behind a little bit too far and it kind of came onto the hourglass, so I'm going to try and hide that with a little bit of a darker color. And then we'll just carry on doing the same thing that we always do. We're just kind of adding to what we've already added and fading it out a little bit further until eventually the whole area is covered. A little bit more just to the very darkest areas that we've got in there. I just love this dull gold look. It's so pretty. Okay, that's it for that one. Next up is the artichoke. Same thing, just gonna lightly burring this out, and I'm just gonna fade it kind of over whatever is left, and then just leave enough for a little bit of a highlight. Put a little bit just on the bottom right side of these little ball joints here. Okay, and then the last step is to go back over with our base colors. So I'm gonna grab the yellow ochre for this, and I'm just gonna go over everything and just finish blending and burnishing with this. And then for the hourglass, it was the canary yellow, so I'm just going to go over everything with that. Okay, and then on the dull gold, I just like to, it's pretty burnished, but I'm still going to go just a little bit over with the white. And that just kind of knocks it back a little bit. So I really like that tarnished dull look. I feel like the white kind of mutes the colors just a little bit. There. Okay, so next for that is the sand, which we do actually need the dark umber again for. So I'm just going to grab the dark umber, add a little bit of shadow here, and then just lightly fade it up. I'm going to kind of add like little dots and stuff in here. Shadow the bottom where the sand is resting. Same thing, I'm going to try and add a few little dots. And then we just want the jasmine. Let's see if I can find the swatch again for that. I forgot I'd need it again. There it is. Very lightly color over the rest of the sand. Just enough to give it that sandy color. And then we're going to bring in the sky blue light and we're going to go over all of the glass. So we're going to burnish it with this, and this should hopefully give it that glass effect. And then let's grab our chartreuse. And we're just going to color it over the bubbles here. And actually, let's grab, okay, I'm going to use both the chartreuse and the spring green. We'll go on with the spring green first. That's not spring green. I'm going to put the spring green along the, kind of like along the sides that we put the darker colors on. So the bottom and then kind of to the right. And then we'll leave the top left for the chartreuse because that's our lightest point. So I'm just going to lightly color over the Posca. Oops. Don't know if you guys can even see, hopefully. I may have had it pulled down too far, I'm not sure. Okay, and then we can finish the top bits off with the chartreuse. There. So let's come in with our Posca pen. And we're just going to outline the hourglass, maybe add just a couple little lines to kind of simulate the glass. I don't really like how that one turned out. I want them to, there, no. This is hoping for the foggy glass effect, but we just, there, we'll just keep it like that, simple. I want one here, but there. There. Okay. Let's grab our greens here. We can do a couple more little things. Okay, I want this color and this color. A little bit of this one. Okay. So let's come in with, I think we can see everything we need to here. We'll come in with the dark umber. Got a few more minutes, we might as well make the most of it. Just gonna pop a little bit of the dark umber on either side of the ridges on this book and this one here. And then just on the side of the broom here. Okay, then I want the bronze, which is this one here, I believe. No, that's green ochre. It's this one. Okay, same thing. Just gonna go over top of the dark umber, bring it out. And then we'll come in and finish that off with the canary yellow. Just go over everything. Actually, I don't want that one. I want the darkest green. Where is that one? Ah, there it is, right in front of my face. Okay, let's come in with the dark green. I'm just gonna kind of outline this book with it and fade it towards the center. Just like that. And then let's come in with the spring green. I think I'm just gonna, for the most part, finish it off completely. I'm gonna leave this little white spot. I'm gonna color everything else in. And then for that white spot, we'll come in with the chartreuse and just color that in. It looks pretty magical. And I think we could probably leave it there. We still have 2 parts. Yeah, we're gonna leave it. I think we are close enough to an hour, and we made some really good progress. I'm really happy with what we got done. So that is how she's looking so far. I'm actually really happy. I cannot wait to see her finished. Hopefully you guys feel the same. Hopefully you guys are enjoying. And as always, I will see you in the next one. All right, take care. Bye.